Welcome to Perspective Podcast. Josue here. As you guys probably already know, I'm from the Democratic Republic of Congo. I attended the Oral Roberts University. I graduated there at some point. I'm sure I'm probably in debt, but we're not here to talk about that. I do preach at times, but we're also not here to talk about that as well. To my right, we have Chase Brown. He was born in Texas. You don't have to say North Texas. It's all Texas. He was born in Texas. He attended the University of North Texas. He's an aspiring philanthropic creative, and it is April 22nd, and he still loves very long walks on the beach. Why that is, I'm not sure, but I'm hoping, and I'm sure we'll be able to get into that today. So, Chase Brown, how you doing?
We're doing really good.
Yeah.
But it's funny since that's, considering what we were talking about before the podcast, those long walks on the beach just kind of hit a little bit different for the first time in my mind. That's wild. But I'm doing really well. Just got back from a retreat in Oklahoma near ORU. I didn't go see the praying hands, but maybe next time I will.
I hear they clap at night, but that might be
I mean, y'all would have heard it at some point. So, but I'm doing really well though. How are you, man?
I'm good. Yeah. Aiden asked, was like, where's Chase at? I'm like, it's funny. I actually said California when she asked.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know. I was just like, I don't know, California. But no, I've been good. I'm just waiting for it to get a little bit warmer. We've been getting a lot of cold fronts here in Texas for no reason.
Well, I mean, maybe when we go to Atlanta over the weekend, celebrate that boy Joseph. Could be warm.
Shout out to Joseph. Shout out to
DeBaron for Tea Party.
Shout out to DeBaron for the Tea Party.
Josue didn't even know about it.
With an exclusive gift. Anyways, so as you guys probably already know, whenever at times when we have the podcast, we tend to bring you guys a very special guest. And I just got to make sure that I give our guest today the justice that's due to her name and prestige. It's taken us a few years to really get this set up, so you got to understand the magnitude of what's about to happen here today. So I'm just going to describe a couple things that really, really reiterate who she is as a person and her accomplishments. I'm sure I'm going to fall short and miss a lot, but I'm going to do my best. So 5 times she's been nominated as, she's already laughing.
As Nigerian Creative of the Year.
Wow, that's big prestige. 5-time Nigerian Creative of the Year. 4-time, we're going to give her Poet, DFW Poet of the Year, better than other poets. We're not going to name anybody or point.
Street.
I didn't say anything. Shout out to Street. 3 times. I don't know if you knew this, but she's actually a worship leader as well.
Yo, what?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about that, but I'm putting out her business because I want to give her all the. My bad.
Yeah, all the publicity.
Yeah, all the publicity. All the smoke. 2 times. 2 times. It's gonna be
I know what 2-time ORU alumni of the month.
Yeah. When you
take that.
when you think about the top ORU alums, she up there.
And I think Josue, I probably haven't won that award at all, right?
Nah. I'm still in debt, so let's not bring this up. And as a just as a best, as a favorite. One time, she's a child of God. She loves people. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together. Nobody's clapping. We have Bosa in the building.
Yeah.
I was going to butcher her last name, but I didn't want to try.
It's
So,
okay. Bosa's great.
It's great, right?
That's my name.
I know. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me.
Of course. And you brought on the hats. It's probably one of the best hats we've had on the podcast
By far.
thus far. Yeah.
It's bringing the energy for me today because I am waking up.
Yeah.
So
How do you manage
I
to
hope
keep
I'm
it
fun
on
for y'all.
your head?
I keep my head up.
Okay.
You see how I did that?
Yeah.
Ooh, posture.
That's what I do.
Did you go through? This is a very important question. Did you go through the, what I like to call the elevation church season, where everybody was wearing the fedora hats?
No and yes.
No and yes.
So when everybody was doing the
Skinny jeans.
I did rock
jackets,
skinny
boots.
jeans. I did rock boots. I didn't like fedoras like that.
Okay.
But I always have liked wide brim hats. So this has been a thing for a long time.
Okay.
But
So you
fedoras seem like
predated that.
too small for my head.
Yeah.
But I was into everything else. Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah,
There we go.
they had everybody in a chokehold. So
Yeah.
shout out to
Yeah.
them. Yep.
But how's life been? What's the Lord been walking you through the last few months or couple years since we had you on last that we've been trying to book you and
Man,
all this?
had to clear my throat on that one. There's so much. I don't know where to start. I think, last year has been a blur for many reasons. One, some friends and I started a company, which I would love to talk about.
I didn't know about this. I kept hearing something, but I didn't know what y'all was talking about. So.
It's called Skillhouse.
Okay.
I'll give you a rundown. We are in it'll be quick. What month is this? We're in May. April. So last year around this time, some friends and I just launched a company. Skillhouse is a creative agency. So we launched, excited. So we launched in March. April, I wasn't feeling well in these months. I think we had an Axel intensive as well. And it's actually funny. Angela's behind the cam, but
shout out Angela.
She's a part of this story. Shout out Angela. Okay.
Wow. Is she a part of the?
She's a part of this part of the story where.
Okay, not the company.
Not the company.
Okay.
Officially,
but,
I guess.
we do some work together.
Yeah.
We're connected. We're linked. We're synced. That was not a gangster. That was not a gang sign.
Josue, you're safe. You're okay, man. You don't need to run.
Yeah, that was.
That looked very gang. That looked.
Yeah.
I only pop for Jesus. So I'm tired.
I beg your pardon.
I said,
Angela, you good?
all right. Like I said, I'm waking up.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's still waking up.
So Axel intensive, Angela actually, I was supposed to do something and I was like, yo, I got to back out of this. I'm not feeling well. So she pulls me aside and just starts praying. And come to find out I was not well. I was actually sick. Go get some tests done and find out that I had cancer. Stage 3. I don't know why I was going to keep going. I'm looking at Angela's looking at me. So I found out I have cancer, and it's super aggressive. Like by this time, most cancer grows at like what they say, 10 to 12%. Mine was growing at 95%. And so they're like, we need to get it out. But then they didn't want to get it out because it was too big by this time. So I was going to have to sit with it for 6 months. So it was like a whirlwind season. So we launched this company. Then all of this is happening. I ended up going to Mexico and did work there. Came back. I'm now doing chemo treatment. But the whole thing has been like and in the midst of this, starting this company with my friends. So it's been like, whoa, what happened this last year? But I'll tell you, one of the biggest things for me is like God's been faithful. Like he's been so faithful this last year and keeping me like mentally, physically, keeping me emotionally, and keeping me just honestly. I found out the strength of community this year, like why it's so important to have good community. I found out, like, my parents are not as crazy as I thought they were. You know what I'm saying? Like, they actually say good stuff. Like, some of the stuff they saying is real. Like, it's necessary. Especially when it comes to, sometimes you say, like, oh, like, you guys are being religious. I'm like, yo, when it comes to, like, you fighting for your life, it's like, you're not religious. We fight. Like, let's be about it. Like, so there's things like that. My perspective on things just changed. And, I think it's the weirdest thing. Like, it's like a healing journey, obviously, but it's a healing journey. It's been a healing journey. I remember my sister, she asked me the question, hey, do you want to be healed or do you want to be free? And it was like, oh, I want to be free. Like, if I'm going to go through this process, not just physically, but like every part of me, like free. And obviously it's a journey and we'll keep walking it. But if I'm doing the hard work already, just like physically, why not get after it mentally, emotionally? And so it's been it has been freeing. It's the weirdest thing to say because it's still a wrestle, right? Like it's just the weird juxtaposition of how God is, but like that both and of the gospel. Like I'm in the both and tension right now. Like man, God is so faithful, and Lord, would you heal me? Like, God, you are so kind, and Father, I have questions, but I know like it rains on the just and the unjust, and this is not your doing in your hand. And then you have the moments where you're like, but Lord, would you protect me? So it's like the both and the, man, I'm sitting in the middle of this, but what I know to be true is He is faithful, He is kind, that Jesus died for my life. Like, so no matter what happens, there's a freedom in this whole thing. I think that's been the most freeing thing for me in this journey, in this last year of letting go. And then I realized like I was scared to death. Like I was like freaking out when it first happened and all this stuff. And like, I'm praying and Lord, just like, I really wanted to be healed. Which I believe I am healed, and it's like coming, the physical manifestation. I can't get tested, so that's why I'm just waiting. But there was this wrestle, and it's kind of like, oh, I was scared of death, and then it made me face like, do I really believe this gospel that I talk about? Like, do I really believe what Christ said? Do I really, really believe His word? Because if I did, like, and hear my heart, because I'm not saying if you're like facing sickness or disease, not to contend for healing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying in this journey for me, it was an eye-opening. Oh, I think there's fear there. There's fear that like I need to give to the Lord and really let Him work with me through it. That I really believe what I've said He has done for my life, and if I believe it, this shouldn't scare me for this reason. That I can stand in faith, believing for this thing, believing for healing, contending for healing, not from a place of anxiousness or fear, but from a place of trust. And so that's been like the shift of my mentality in this season. And it's been really, I think, again, freeing.
Yeah. And I kind of relate to you in a sense, because in January, I think we talked about it a little bit, but one of my grandmas passed away, and it's the first person in our family that we've lost since I've been alive, which is crazy that I'm 30 years old and just now losing someone that's close to me.
That's amazing.
But in it, I didn't really know how I was gonna react, and the only times that I even had like an emotional reaction was whenever I was thinking about like what my grandfather or what my dad was going through, and like imagining like if I was losing a wife or losing like my mom, like what would be hitting me in that moment. And I think that was the first time that I'd felt genuine empathy that the Lord gave me maybe ever.
Yeah.
And in it though, as like she was about to pass, like my grandpa asked me to like pray over her and pray over us, and like that's like the whole family's believers, but that's just not really something that we often do other than just the cliche before a meal saying a prayer. And I'm really thankful for the Lord to be able to have me and like the composure to be able to do that and to be able to honor her well. And that was the first time I'd ever seen my grandfather cry, and it was just a moment that I know we're going to look back on for a long time. But the reason I'm saying it is I think for the first time maybe since I accepted Jesus, I had such a deep appreciation for His blood and His resurrection. Like that, thank you for shedding your blood so that this person that I love would be able to live.
Yeah.
And that I didn't know before that if I would have genuinely believed, like as someone who I loved was passing away, like Jesus, your blood covers them. Like I know where they're going, and like I don't have to worry about that. And I'm sure the rubber meets the road a bit more whenever it's you rather than just someone, but I feel you in that.
That's still massive. Thanks for sharing. Like, and also like sorry for your loss. Because it's still, that's still a heavy thing. But again, to know where she is, I think like to know, that's the beauty of what Jesus paid for, is we get to know. And yeah, I could say, I think, oh, because it's me, it's heavier. I think, man, when we're talking about life and death, it's just like, it hits everybody differently. Like, and I really think that the Lord has put like some type of supernatural grace on me in this season as I've been walking through this season. You know, we love seasons.
Yep.
We love seasons. In this season. And so it's been cool. Like some people, I say that because people are like, life is happening to everybody, right? And so something happens to somebody and they're like, oh, but like, I shouldn't be sad because you, like, no, bro, like life is happening. Things are happening. Like life is moving. The world does not revolve around me. And so it's like, again, the both and we can both be grieving about something at the same time, even if it's like different things, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And a question that I had a lot of last year was, or just a thought was, I didn't know that genuine grief and genuine excitement could exist in a heart at the same time. And that question, I don't know if we've talked about this. The question came up on like the weekend that you got engaged, because there was some other stuff happening that weekend that was like really heavy for me. And being able to see that a heart can feel multiple things at the same time, that a heart that is okay to love multiple things at the same time. Because I feel like as Christians, we think that, oh, loving God means I cannot love anything else point blank, just zilch. But it's a priority thing. It doesn't, loving the Lord doesn't mean I have to have a apathy or disdain for everything else in life. It just means he comes first, people second, and then everything else I can love just in that alignment.
I love that. Yeah. It's a priority thing.
Yeah.
It makes it so clear.
Yeah, I remember, I want to say, I don't know if it was August or what time it was. I was coming back from somewhere. We were in a car, and we were getting gas station. Get that gas station. Yeah, he got a Tesla. So. That was a long time ago, right?
I'm sorry.
Actually, would it have been? I'm really trying to figure out when that would have been.
I think you got the Tessie after that.
It must have been after.
It was after he bought the gas station.
Yeah, it was actually across the street from Gateway, really. There's a gas station there. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's 7.
Yeah, one of them ones.
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
Right,
but I remember
Cheesecake?
being there.
Yeah,
across the street from it. I remember being there, and your video was playing on my phone. You had posted one video, and you were just sharing some encouragement. I was listening to it, and kind of having heard the situation that you were going through. I remember thinking like, man, it's crazy for somebody to be in the midst of going through a lot, something that a lot of people don't have hope for in the midst of going through it, but still being able to be hopeful to other people, being able to allow your story to be used as something that you're able to share with others to bring encouragement, because it brought encouragement to me, and I was even in a similar situation as you. So what did you find that, strength or that resolve or that thought to, even in the midst of going through something where if you were to feel, if you were to say, you know what, I'm gonna be selfish. I'm the one going through pain, so people got to look at me always as somebody going through pain and receive what people are able to give. And yeah, you decided in the midst of going through something to say, you know what, I'm still going to encourage people anyway. So how did you find the, like I mentioned, strength, resolve, or even a desire to do something like that?
Honestly, I think it's the Lord. I think in August I had just come back from Tijuana, and I remember when I was going, I'm like, should I be telling everybody I went to Mexico? I already did. I did in many ways. So, but when I was first going to Tijuana, I think I made these graphics like God still heals, something like that. And I remember being in Tijuana. I think I texted Ange and one of my friends, Eugenie, one of the ones I started the company with, and it was like, yo, post this on your social media at this time, something like that. Like, Put it on your story. And it was just like this, oh, the enemy's attacking me. And it felt like this is a weapon that I can use to like shots fired, like I can fire back. And so it was like man, the enemy's attacking me. What if 5 people just realized like God heals? So he wants to like lie to me, but what if 5 people out there realize no, God still heals? Okay, that's worth it. Let's post about it. So that was that thought process. And then for the encouragement, I think I came back and I was just super grateful. Like I think it was, so in Tijuana, it's a hospital that takes in, like, it's a place of hope. But when you say that, there's a lot of people who are going there who this is their very last option. So coming back, like a lot of people, I was there for quite a while. So a lot of people I built bonds with and different stuff, like they're passing away, like some of them. And it was this like, man, I think with what you were saying, Chase, like this war in the heart of gratefulness, and then this like deep sorrow, and just the, okay, what is truth? And I know what truth is. And so like, let me focus on truth and share that with people, what truth is. Because sometimes we can get swayed by the lie. Even though it might be something that has happened or it could happen, it's not truth. And so I think that was the heart posture in August.
And it's beautiful, the Holy Spirit, to be able to have that be the case rather than purely just emotions, or just being able to have that perspective. Like that's not something that I think is us. Like I know certainly such a smaller example than yours. Like senior year of high school, I had like a knee surgery for my knee in summer going into senior year. And for like weeks, I think I ended up going on crutches for like 2 weeks longer than I should have, just because I wanted to avoid different things. And whether that be practice or just other things, whatever. And so something as relatively insignificant as that. And then you, like one of our friends, being able to go through that, being able to stay grounded, being able to stay in connection with the Lord. Like, again, we're giving you your flowers here, but like,
appreciate it.
Just such a amazing thing, and something that I don't know if you've seen yet the fullness of how that has and will inspire all of your friends and all the community around here. Because not wishing this on anyone, but unfortunately from like a statistical standpoint, you're probably not the last one in our community that might go through this. And so for you being able to have this story at a young age, being able to encourage people with it in the years to come is going to be quite an interesting thing to be able to kind of witness in you.
It's been cool. I've already gotten to, some people, again, their stories are different than mine. Like, I think it's like what we were saying, because you said like this is so much smaller, but it's like, it's not on the scale of, man, there are people who are like for me, like there are people who are dying, and them trying to be a comfort in that space, and just saying like, okay, Lord, how do I show love to this person? I think like the process that we all go through when we're walking through grief or walking through a hard time, it's like there's this spiritual, mental thing happening. And so I think everybody's looks different, right? Like everybody's process might look different, but there's still something spiritually happening. There's still something mentally happening. And so even like in the leg, the leg thing, like there's something that's happening there that is strengthening you. And so for all of us, like not minimizing it or maximizing it, but just like exactly what it's supposed to be. And they're like, let's be real. Like, so I'm gonna sit up here, I'm gonna take the flowers, thank you so much. But I'm also like, there have been moments where I've wept before the Lord. There are moments where I've just been like, man, Father, like, all the things. Like, I thought I'm a good human, I'm a good Christian, I'm this, I'm like, there are those moments too. But I think that's what allows me to have strength, is that I just keep taking it back to Him. And I think part of the process, I was like, I don't want to be selfish in this process, because there was a moment, I will say, just say back to what you're saying, I was laid up on this couch and I just was like sick. Like I felt it. Like I just felt all the things. And I had come back from Tijuana and I was like, Lord, how come, like, you know, complaining and just mad. And I just felt him say, serve. Like, how can you serve? And it was like, I don't want to serve nobody. Like, anything people should be serving me. Like, so to go back to your point, I was there. I'm like, oh no. But the invitation, because of it, like, is what I think began to give me strength. And I realized even just like, so for me, like, that's just, the Lord is kind and he knows his children. But also like psychology backs the Lord, where it's like when you put your mind on things, like it shifts the way you respond. So even now that I'm going through chemo, one of the doctors was like, hey, so I have treatments in the middle of the week. Like, hey, like set an appointment for the end of the week because it gives your body something to look forward to, right? And so it's like, oh, God knew. Because like for me, I could have just stayed up on the couch for weeks and just kept getting sicker versus like, oh, this is actually part of the healing process. It's part of like keeping regular routine. It's part of, so those things have just helped along the way as well.
Yeah. And kind of the last thing that we can maybe touch on for this, and then we can go to Skillhouse if you want to put that just for you to be able to have it in front of you. For the book, which is a separate thing you can find out about on social media if you would like, not related to perspectives, but it's just an example of you standing on truth in the midst of, and wrestling with emotions in the midst of a situation.
Yeah.
And so for you, what was, I don't want to say what was the whole experience with this, but what do you think of now, months removed, whenever you see what the Lord like just gave you in the poem being titled "A Letter from Love Itself to the One Surviving Cancer"?
Yeah. Do you want me to read it?
If you want, yeah.
Just so that everybody can.
Yeah.
Yeah. A letter from love itself to the one surviving cancer. Dear loved one, I won't leave you. I'm glad you can see. Even in the middle of what seems to be a valley, you've chosen me. You laugh knowing that what you are facing is only temporary. There is a joy set before. Can you see me in those surrounding you, the ones who generously give of themselves to walk with you? Can you see me in the tears when others hear the news? It's not fear, it's me. They've been moved to compassion because of me. Can you feel me at night when you feel as though the pain won't go away, but in a moment it's gone? That's not a coincidence. You're right. I didn't give you this, but I'm right there in the midst. I'm not leaving you. When death is being spoken, but you feel full of life, that's me. I'm surrounding you. I'm guiding you. I'm taking care of you. I really do truly love you. Sincerely love. I think, so when I wrote this, I think I just remember his kindness. Like the process was I got to like experience his kindness in this. So it's cool because I think I had to come, you submitted us writing the prompts. I don't think I knew what I wanted to write about. Mm-hmm. And I remember at that time I didn't want to talk about cancer. Like I just didn't want to talk about it. Like, I think like, you know, you go through the waves, like every season is different. Like seasons be a day, 2 days, sometimes it'd be just a whole different season. And so in this season, I was like, I don't want to talk about this. And I really hadn't processed all of the things. And then I think you had texted like there was deadlines, people were missing out of his mind. So then I was like, let me write this. Let me sit down and write. It's kind of like, okay, what should I be writing about? And it's like, what are you going through? And I'm like, I don't want to talk about what I'm going through. Like, what should I write about? So I wanted to write about like creativity or something else. Yeah. But just felt like, oh, this was the invitation. But in it, it was like him showing me like, no, I've been right there. Like, just like a reminder. Because again, there's the ebbs and flows. And so there are moments where I'm like, yeah, mountaintop. And then there are the moments where I'm in the valley and like my body feels the pain. And I'm like, Jesus, where are you? And then he's like, whom? I'm right there. And it's like, oh. So it's like this reminded me of his kindness.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. So I guess going forward then, for some more maybe fun topic.
Let's go. 'Cause I was like, cancer is kind of like it's like a weighty blanket.
No. It's a beautiful thing though. And thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
So Skillhouse.
Yeah.
You shared a bit about it. From an intro, whatever sort of themes or practicals or story you want to share to introduce Skillhouse. Share.
Man, Skillhouse is a bunch. We are seasoned creatives. But like, how do I make us sound serious? But we're friends. We're friends who love creativity. We love to create. And we are getting to do this together. So what happened is we all worked at the same church. And I felt the Lord saying like it was time for me to leave. So I'm like, okay, I don't know where I'm going. It's time for me to leave. So I quit. In the best way. It was a good transition.
Yeah.
I didn't chunk up the deuce and say I'm out, but it's a beautiful transition. So I leave, and then they, a few months later, felt like they were supposed to transition. I'm like, okay, interesting. So one day I was just praying, and I just felt this like, why don't you guys start a creative agency together? So I texted them, yo, why don't we start a creative agency together? Like,
What'd you call it? Not ugly duck. What was it?
we didn't have a name yet.
No, you said like, hey,
Oh, it was ugly baby.
Ugly baby.
Hey,
Yeah.
ugly baby. And I don't think babies are ugly.
Okay.
You know, okay. I'm just some babies are. I'm sorry. Oops. Like putting my foot in my mouth.
Josue, what kind of baby do you think you were?
Oh, I was handsome. As a baby. It was madness. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of a baby being called handsome.
Yeah, I was the first, really. What can I say? You know?
Said I came out like a kid.
Yeah, it was crazy. But
so it was an ugly baby. And so I texted them, and they got back to me the next day, and they're like, let's do it. And so we get in the room, we're like, all right, what's the name going to be? Our names were horrible. Like, I really wish we could find the paper with the names because they were trash. Like, I'm like, bro. And everyone we were looking up, it was already taken anyway. And then just so happened, Chris, he like, so I work with two people, Chris and Jeannie.
Mm-hmm. Shout out.
Those the homies. Chris, Jeannie, what's up? These gang noises and signs. Today, I think I thought I was a gangster. So we're sitting in a room, we're praying, like trying to figure out, okay, all of our ideas are horrible. God, would you like speak? And then Chris does this epiphany moment. He's like, Skillhouse. We're like, okay. And he was like, Exodus 35, which was crazy because I had been studying Exodus 35 and Jeannie had been reading it as well. And so we start to go Exodus 35:10, where the skilled craftsman created all God commanded. And it's more so when they're building the tabernacle, but it was like, oh, like he filled them with his spirit to be able to create what he commanded. Cool. And then you break it down more, and the skilled in that verse actually means wise-hearted. And it was like, oh, it is wise-hearted to obey the Lord. Like, it's smart. And actually, if you're wise-hearted, he will actually, like, help you. Yeah. And so it felt like this duh. And so for us, we're like, okay, Skillhouse is the name. And we've kind of had this undercurrent of wise-hearted, where we say, okay, we read Proverbs every day, like whatever. Like today I read Proverbs 22, whatever the Proverbs is. Not as the only thing I read. So before you get comments like, y'all done got this girl here, she only read Proverbs. She don't even read the Bible. She didn't read Proverbs. I do read the Bible, but I'm just saying I read Proverbs with Proverbs is in the Bible. Yeah. Anyway, okay.
We trust you. We got you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And so we started doing wise-hearted. It's like an undercurrent, just saying like, hey, we want to be wise. And one of the things this is a tangent. This is wow.
You got it.
But one of the things I'm learning about wisdom is it really is just applied knowledge. Like it's not that difficult. Because I think when we started, it was like wisdom. like we're praying for wisdom. Like it's like this heavy, weighty, like wisdom. And it's like one of my mentors, he just was looking at me and he's like, Bosa, we are in the social media age. There's knowledge everywhere. Who are the people rising to the top? Oh, they're the ones who are applying what they're learning. It's like, just apply what you're learning. Apply what the Bible says. And apply what God is saying. That's wisdom. So it's like, you're like, wisdom. I need like the voice of heaven, this thunder. And it's like, wisdom is just do what God is saying. And like, we were talking about this earlier. His word, he speaks through his word too. Like, and you should probably know his word. Like for me, it's been a conviction this year of like, I need to know my word way more, way better. That's why I said, don't try and play me. I do read my Bible. I am reading more than Proverbs. Don't try and come for me. So that's kind of, I got on a tangent. I'm sorry.
I
couldn't find my way back.
Skillhouse, yeah, I saw you struggling.
Yeah.
You was fighting for your life right there. Skillhouse, wisdom applying it. Yeah. Yeah, and how you guys were wanting to.
Yep.
Yeah, like you came up with a name and then now.
Okay, yes.
Y'all were like on that wisdom tear.
There we are. So we was on wisdom. Period. That was it. That was, yep.
So in light of like, you guys sat there, came up with a name, and it can't be Christian unless there's a verse attached to it. So you even got a verse just for extra measure.
Just gotta do it.
Yeah, you just gotta do it. Even if it don't make sense. My favorite ones would be, this is a tangent. My favorite ones would be like whenever you get like this is back in the day, you get like on a girl's page and then she has like a Bible verse on there. I'm the type of guy to go and look up the verse and I'm like, what does this guy do with anything? It's always so random. Like, I'm like, what does this even mean?
That's because she only reads Proverbs.
Yeah. But let me not say anything.
Yeah,
but
we might get canceled.
Okay.
For sure, that's not a doubt.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, so you
did I
guys
just get canceled? Am I canceled?
pretty close after we post this.
I mean, as long since Ronaldo's not recording, we won't get canceled.
Okay.
We're fine.
That's good.
We'll see what Angela's
Okay, cool.
do.
So someone doesn't have a little verse in their bio. That's good.
Who is that? Aiden? Yeah, good.
Yeah,
good,
she
good.
doesn't. That's good.
I would have to have a conversation about that. But yeah, so like you guys, come up with the company and so what's the, if I could say, the target audience? You say, agency for creatives.
Yeah.
Like what exactly are you guys trying to do, or what is it that you guys actually do?
That's a good question.
For a little promo as well.
Come on,
Yeah.
come on, bro. Yeah. So it was actually funny when we first started. We thought everybody would know what we did. That was not the case. So we want to work with, and who we primarily have seen ourselves working with in this last year have been artists, businesses, and churches. And so we say that we create or provide creative solutions to the artist, business, church. And really it just means like, hey, we're a full service creative agency. So it means whatever you need creatively, that's what we can do. Social media has been our biggest thing. Social media and branding have been our two biggest things that we've helped a lot of artists with their albums or for their music videos or whatever. Like we've done branding for that. For businesses, they run the gamut. Like they just need everything. So we help with all that. And then churches, we're primarily doing like this retainer where, hey, unlimited, whatever kind of creative services you need, we've got you, but it takes 48 hours for us to do it. So that's what we're running. Because since we're three individuals, because a lot of times everybody's like, pick one lane and run it. So branding is like our overarching. But because we're three different people who have three different creative journeys over the last 10 to 15 years, Chris is a beast at videography and photography and editing. Like his edits go crazy. Jeannie is a beast at branding and design, and like she can flip stuff. I'm like, it's taking me forever, and she just like flip it like out of nowhere. I'm like, okay, you're crazy. And then for myself, I would say that I'm more the admin of the group. I get to I get to help do the admin and help spearhead. And obviously I still do the creative stuff, but I'm just like, man, the people I'm running with are better than me, and this is awesome. It's the best way to run.
It really is. You always want people that are, smarter than you and do things Like, why do I have to be the one to carry the weight of the world? You know, when you can get people to do that. So,
Did I just sell us? I don't think I sold us, but I hopefully.
no, you
Okay.
did. Yeah, branding and
Anything
everything.
else you want to add
Yeah.
that you feel like you missed out? If not, that was solid.
We're creative geniuses. We do strategy as well if you need it.
There we go.
And is there like a way for them to?
Skillhousestudio.com.
Y'all got an Instagram page or something? Y'all on
That
IG
was like
or
something straight out of like the early 2000s.
Yeah, it sounded
like
like
whenever
you
the
were,
internet was just invented. Oh my gosh. HomeDepot.com.
At skillhouse.studio on IG.
Okay, I just want to make sure you had all your.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great.
All,
That's
all
great.
your things out there. Okay.
.com.
So, obviously, in light of, is this? I mean, not to get into their business,
good.
but there's a point I'm asking. Is this the only work that you are doing, that y'all are doing? Is that
Yes. So
currently?
this is our full time. This is
So
our.
you guys are already full time.
Yeah, we're full time,
Okay.
which was. I mean, it's been really the hand of the Lord, but it's also been a faith journey. I was like, entrepreneurship is faith.
Yeah.
Because he's like, am I going to eat tomorrow if I don't market? Yeah. So this is good. I'm marketing. Hi.
And you found that, as you mentioned, it being a faith journey, you found that people are just finding you, or word of mouth, or where have you found like the best way that you guys are connecting with people?
Both word of mouth and people are just finding us. But we really, coming into May and June, we're going to start running ads and different things. But right now it's primarily word of mouth. It's been crazy, the word of mouth. Like, I think right now we have 600 and something followers on Instagram. And they just came out of nowhere, which has been great. Well, not nowhere. Obviously, we have our own respective Instagram that people have come from.
Right.
But man, it's been word of mouth. But we are also wanting to do more business with more people. I'm sorry, let me stop selling because I'm not good at it.
You're fine. You're fine.
It's so obvious. It's like the best selling is the one you can't tell, and I'm like, ha ha.
What are there some of the favorite projects you've been able to work on, or what are some of the personal or business lessons you feel like you've learned over the last year of doing this?
So many lessons. I would say one of my favorite projects is Letters from Love itself.
Okay, can you pick one other? I appreciate you. Appreciate you, because y'all asked for little money and then did so much because of
Are you
my.
working for free?
No, we don't work for free.
Oh, not for free.
But with how much our publisher asked for, it went on for much longer than we expected, which I'm grateful for.
Okay.
Other than that,
It's great. I would say one of my favorite projects recently, we went down, some of our friends are launching a church or taking over a church in Corpus Christi called the Church of Acts. And
That's a name.
is that Ross and Audra?
Russ and Audrey,
Heck
yeah.
yeah.
So I think I think that's why some of my favorite projects are doing stuff with the people I love, because it's like it's cool to see the gifts that God has given you serve them, right? And so we got to go film like a video for them and just hang out with them in the church, walk around. It's a massive church. So Audra's granddad was a pastor. He passed away in 2007. Her grandma has been running the church until now, but they felt like it was time. Like they prayed because she wasn't letting go to anybody, and so she prayed. She was like, "Yeah, y'all are the right ones," and so they went down there and moved their whole family. And so it was cool to just get to be a part of that. I think we're gonna help. And I think we are working on their branding as well. And so to see there's this legacy and this history that they have in this city and here that we get to help steward this, to really take care and really care for. I think that's my favorite part of the projects is, man, we really go and seek the Lord and do research, and we're not just trying to, because hear my heart, maybe y'all already canceled, so there's so many creative agencies popping up out of nowhere, everybody does this, everybody design, everybody, and I'm like, but do you actually care? I love taking photos on my phone and I have a camera. I don't call myself a photographer because I respect the craft that much.
Ooh.
And so I feel like some people just don't care. They just throw out labels and it's to make a quick buck because we are in America and it's capitalistic. And I love capitalism, Sometimes. But like to actually still respect something. Like there's this thought in Japan, they'll learn one thing and just learn it to the best of it. Like one artist, she went and she learned how to line draw. And like she did that forever. Like, and came back and she's a beast at like the way she does her lines and drawing. And so she's become so trained in that space. So I say this, and I also say like, oh, Skillhouse, we do all things, but I'm saying like we've been versed in creativity. Like, so we didn't just like, what can we do to make a quick buck? It's because of life and because of the places we've served. Especially, we've all been church creatives, and in church spaces, you have to learn everything to even be able to function. So stepping out of that, it's like, okay, we want to serve our clients to the best of our ability. How do we do that? Okay, when they come to us with genuine needs, let's actually strategize, sit down and say, okay, what are the skills that we carry? Like if it's to do all God commanded, if this is something he's asking of them, or if this is an idea they have, what do we have within our wheelhouse to serve them? So our hearts are to serve, and I see so many people popping up and their heart is to make a quick buck. I'm not going to hate on anybody's game, but I'm just like, bro, like, do something better. Because then those people come to us and like, hey, help me, and are frustrated because like, I thought they were going to XYZ. Yeah, sorry. I don't know. I feel bad because I'm like, I'm not trying to talk about like, you know.
Was Josue one of those people?
No.
Not yet.
All right, well, we're going to talk with Aiden about that so she could pray over you.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to need that. I need that for sure. And in terms of like, whenever there's a guy that I was talking to, he similar space, but his completely different.
Yeah.
And I remember a question that I asked him was like, do you guys come up whenever you're helping someone with branding, for example? Are you coming up with the idea, or are they giving you, this is what we want to do, and then you guys create? Or is it more flexible? Like, what's that process like? Let's say I come to you and say, hey, I'm opening up a business.
Confession Fridays.
I need help with branding and things like that. What are some of the practical steps that that yourself or the team kind of goes through?
Yeah, so the first thing we would do, so if you're coming to us, we definitely will pray about it. Ask the
So
Lord.
you don't take on everybody?
We don't take it on everybody, no.
Okay.
Pray about it, ask the Lord, and then if we like, okay, this is a good fit, we start like the conversation process. So we have a kind of a questionnaire. So you might take the questionnaire.
Mm-hmm.
We want all your ideas and all the things, but so we have a clause that we put in our contracts now that just says, hey, we're going to give you our best suggestion, our advice, and you can choose to say you don't want it. Now, if you choose to say you don't want it, we'll make what you want to the best of our ability. And the reason being is because some people, like, they had a vision or they saw this and we might feel like it's not in good taste, it's not XYZ. Right. So we want to do it this way. And when we submit our mood board or we submit our first draft, they're like, whoa. Like, well, I wanted the dragon with the sword coming out of his mouth. And, like, y'all did something else. And we will say, okay, hey, we're submitting that this is the best way to go. We can give you 2 other options of this. But if you want the dragon with the sword coming out of his mouth, we'll make you that dragon. But just know, if this fails, it's not on us. So, like, if somebody sees your branding later and says, that's trash, you can't say, well, Skillhouse made it. Because, one, it's not going to be on our website. We're not going to tell nobody we made it. And also, you signed a contract that said that you would ignore our professional opinion. So that's how we do that. Does that answer your question?
No, it does, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, whenever that inevitably happens for Confession Friday, are you going to ignore their professional opinion?
I'm professional myself. I also have a house of sorts that I perform skills with, so.
What are these your game nights? These your game nights? Is your skill game hosting?
Yeah, I actually need to start getting paid for that. So
he does, actually. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He hasn't hosted one in a bit though.
I've been slacking. I'm just working on my craft.
We just hosted a Super Bowl party, and then
That was the last thing, man.
nothing has happened since then.
Yeah. I actually do want to say this to brag on myself. Not to brag on myself. This is bragging on God.
Give yourself your flowers.
So we had. I don't know if you came. I did this impromptu dinner in downtown Fort Worth, April of 29th. Because someone told me the date. I don't know how to remember, but I do know how to remember. That's a story for another day. April 29th of last year, and I was like, "Hey, I want to go to dinner in Fort Worth. Who wants to come?" We probably had like 30 plus people show up, right?
Come on.
So from that, 2 people met, and they just got engaged this past week, So I'm thinking, I got to get paid for this or something.
I think
you know
you
what I'm
should get like a
saying?
scouting fee.
Yeah, but that's a story for another day. I don't want to bore you guys.
Like just at least y'all go on like a double date and they pay for you and Aiden
At
dinner.
least.
That's a
something
good
like
idea.
that.
At least.
Hey, if you're listening, you should do that. Pay for the man's food.
I didn't want to be the
Photo
one to
Aiden,
say
come
it.
on.
I didn't want to be the one to say it. I'm going to clip this part and send it to them later on.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
All right. Well, to start to land the plane, because we want to honor your schedule and Angela's schedule behind the camera.
Yeah.
I already asked you about the lessons that you've been learning from Skillhouse. Sort of. I did ask both personal and business.
Mm-hmm.
You answered some. Still, from like a personal, from your personal, how has your personal relationship with the Lord benefited from you pursuing Skillhouse?
Oh, so many ways. I would say, okay, so quick, one of the things I've learned, just personal, is one, I wasn't the best leader. I thought I was a good leader before. Well, not.
Relate to you in that.
I've become a better leader, and I'm like, it's made me to where I think I'm more like open-handed. I thought I was open-handed. I wasn't. So we started something called the Creative Cohort. We launched it this March. So we launched last March. This March we launched the Creative Cohort. We have 3 people in it, and so they help us. So it's more like, it's kind of like an internship, but legally it's not an internship.
She's putting all these disclaimers out there.
Yep, you know what I'm saying? And so we have 3 individuals who have said yes to just coming on and coming alongside it. It's kind of like a creative class, and so we teach them, they help us. And it's this mutual beneficial.
They're like shadowing y'all.
Yeah. Mutual beneficial thing. But in this process, I actually just, one of them had said something, they had missed one of my instructions last week. And so I was giving like correction. And then they're like, ouch, that hurt. And I was like, oops. Like it didn't. So it's different. Like if you cut in like the type of like letting God prune in a way that's gentle and kind. It's another when you stabbing your brother or your sister like that. It shouldn't feel like that. And I found moments where I've realized, I'm stabbing people. And my leadership, I need to say this different. Like I'm learning a lot about communication, learning a lot about just the way I steward. I didn't know a lot about unity on a team. So then coming in with Chris and Jeannie, I realized, like if we don't do it, nobody does it. And so it became like, okay, how do we do this together? And that felt like wobbly sea legs. Like, let's get in. So we had a lot of hard conversations, hard, but like the beautiful ones, where like much fruit came from them. And so with the Lord, it's made me be able to have the hard conversations. I thought I was having hard conversations with the Lord. I didn't realize I wasn't like going all the way to the point where it was almost like, we're saying the things that I don't think I've ever said to anybody. I don't think maybe they've said to me before or to anybody, but like we're able to have those conversations. But I realized, this is true iron sharpening iron, where I am getting stronger, I'm becoming better because they're cutting me, but not to stab me, to hurt me, but to just help me. And I get to do that for them. So I learned, I thought I was a good leader. I was not, but I'm learning. I'm getting better. I'm getting stronger. And then 2, like, man, you need people to do this thing. It's better with people. Like, Sorry, y'all, my stomach keep going off. That's the gang signs. It felt the gang. But like, you need people. Like, I don't think what we're doing, or even the vision and the plans we have for the future, I don't know if I could do it by myself. I wouldn't want to do it by myself. It would be no fun. And so that's something I've been learning.
Heck yeah. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Josue, any last things, jokes, questions, comments,
Not
pitches?
yet, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like when you were talking, I was just thinking about like, you guys got to figure out a way to get connected with universities, with students, as
good.
they submit that to you.
Yeah.
So I think that would be something very beneficial
That's good.
for y'all. So
That's good.
that was about it.
I think ORU would be a good start. Yeah, and as Josue said, I don't think he could be the one to spearhead that.
I mean,
they still want his money.
Yeah, they after me right now, so I got to throw my gang signs too. So, yep.
And I officially will say, even though I've said it before, but we'll owe you more than just this bit of gratitude, even more going forward. But thank you for everything that you did with the project. Like, as I said to the preface of it, like, y'all are the ones who turned this from like words on a journal and ideas in a mind into like reality. And it's super special, because even though this podcast is creative in a sense, like, I felt like the book was like my first creative project in a way, in a like this totally new realm of like unfamiliarity that I was stepping into. And y'all choosing to come alongside and partner in that, and trust that I was gonna pay y'all money and not take advantage of that, though I still asked for so much, and y'all showing me patience in that really meant a lot. And yeah, like, it's social capital that goes a long way to where anyone who's talked about doing stuff like that, like, I pointed in y'all's direction, whether that's materialized or not. Hopefully in the years it will. And then for future volumes of the book, and like, it'll be some fun. So just thank you for all that. And yeah, it meant a lot.
Thank you. It was fun.
Heck yeah. Any last things you want to say to the audience, the listeners, or just address Josue's nonsense?
I didn't feel any nonsense from Josue.
Not today, right?
No,
That was good.
It was good.
Good.
Good. I think the last word would be just like, have joy, like, have fun in life. It's kind of random, but I just think I'm learning it more and more in this season. I think it's something that we need to really just like do hard times, do tough times, through fun time, like, have joy. Because I think that was the one thing that when I'm looking back on this last year, it's been like the both end. It's been a hard time, but it's been so much fun. Like, there's been so many like moments that, like, in 5, 10 years, 15 years, like, I'll tell my kids about when we first like put our boots on to go to war and build this thing. So I think have fun, because sometimes we get so caught up in what we're going through. My dad always says, like, leave what you're going through, just focus on what's on the other side. And I think that's something, like, just like, don't leave focusing on this or focus on, just like, get to the other side, but joy, like, skip through it, like. And again, I understand that we all have moments, we all have a hard time, like, but like, there's a joy that can come that's not like happiness, like, I'm gonna make myself laugh, but just a joy and like, man, I'm alive. Like, I opened my eyes today. Like, I got to walk around. Like, you can find joy in the little things. Like, I get to breathe. Like, there's joy in little moments and things. And if you keep that perspective, whatever you walk through, like, you'll get through it.
Heck yeah. Also, just, we've had you and Jalen on back-to-back podcasts, so maybe that's a little hint for y'all to pick up y'all's podcast again.
Yeah, that's a good note.
Maybe.
That's a good note. Jalen,
anything you want to share? Yell from behind the camera.
No.
To Bosa? No?
Oh, to Bosa.
Yeah.
Love you, Bosa. You said it like.
you said no.
Connected worldwide.
Oh my gosh.
An honor.
We appreciate you, Angela.
Yeah, we love you.
You're the GOAT. But yeah, y'all, that'll be a wrap for us today. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll be putting all of Bosa and Skillhouse's info in the description below. If you want to go reach out to them about any sort of potential projects, they might turn you down. They might accept you. Who knows? And all of our information will be in the description below as well. If you want to support us, the podcast outreaches, all the fun stuff we do. Bosa, thank you again.
Thank you guys.
Until next time, much love. God bless.